Hi, this is Sean Geary, Solution Engineer at Flexera. During the next few minutes, I'd like to show you how you can integrate a custom report into FlexNet Code Insight's Custom Report Framework. Custom reports allow you to generate externally accessible documents based on the data contained within the project for your scanned application. The content and format of these reports are completely customizable based on your specific needs. The ability to integrate a custom report was first introduced in the 2020 R1 release of FlexNet Code Insight, so having that version or later is a requirement. Since integrating a custom report requires copying files to FNCI, you will also need access to the server. An authorization token for a user with the administrator role is needed since the report must be registered for use. Finally, a program or a script that will create the report is also required. This application will interact with FlexNet Code Insight via the REST API interface to extract data from the system for the project that the report will be run against and generate the desired output format. A quick outline as to the process for the steps that need to be taken to create and register a custom report are as follows. First, the script or program that generates the report needs to be created. Although it is possible to register your application immediately and then develop the program while it is already integrated in FNCI, it is most likely simpler to do this as a standalone application and then make the necessary modifications to plug it into the framework. The custom report framework can call either a batch or a shell program. This program could do all of the work to generate the report, or it could be utilized as an intermediary script that calls another application to create the report. Using a simple script like this allows you to create your application in your preferred programming language, and this is the approach that I'll take here. Once the report generation program and helper script, if being used, have been created, they will need to be copied into the proper directory on the FlexNet Code Insight server. And finally, the custom report will need to be registered via the API into the framework. This will allow for the report to be run for all projects within the system via the Web UI or REST API. The custom report framework will pass the following information to the batch or shell script. The project ID, which is unique to each project and allows the APIs to gather information for that specific project. A report ID is also provided, which is used when the report results are then uploaded back to the system. And finally, the JWT or authorization token that is generated and supplied by the framework. This is used by your report application when the FlexNet Code Insight REST APIs are called. The application that generates the custom report needs to do the following. First, it'll gather the needed data from FlexNet Code Insight via the available REST APIs. As mentioned previously, the project ID and the authorization token are passed to this program from the custom report framework to the batch or shell script. The report application should then create the desired output files for the report. The application itself can create any format outputs that are required by the consumers of the data. HTML, text, Excel, or JSON are common output formats, but the possibilities really are limitless. All the output formats should be combined into a single zip file, which will be available directly from within FlexNet Code Insight for download. It is also possible to designate one of the reports as a viewable file within FNCI that will allow you to view the report directly from within the browser or have it automatically downloaded. A final zip archive must be created that combines the previous zip file with the single report format that you wish to be viewable. If there is no zip archive or individual report within the uploaded zip file, the option to download or view this report will be disabled within FlexNet Code Insight. And to wrap up the process, this final zip file needs to be uploaded to FlexNet Code Insight. This can be done within the report generation application, or if you're using intermediary shell or batch file, you can use this to upload the final archive as well. So now let's take a look at the individual pieces we've discussed for the example report that I've created. As I mentioned, I'm using the custom report framework to call an intermediary helper script. In my case, since I have FNCI running on a Windows-based system, I'll be using a batch file, which will in turn call a Python script that will do the work to create the report. As you can see here, I have a few placeholders for when this is integrated into the custom report framework, and will have the project ID, report ID, and authorization token provided to me. For testing purposes, I have currently hard-coded my project ID and my authorization token in my batch file, which are then passed to my report script. The report ID is not needed for testing due to the fact that we are only concerned with generating the reports and the archive files now, and we won't be uploading them to FNCI. Eventually this will be handled in the script, so it is being passed along as well. My report script is expecting these options to be passed as command line argument, as you can see here. Looking at the report creation script itself, you can see that I'm taking the authorization token and the project ID that were supplied and making a call to the Get Project Information API. From the API response, I'm grabbing the project name and the date the project was created, and then I'm creating a text file as well as an HTML file. I then created a zip archive of these two files. Next, the script makes another zip archive with the HTML file and the previously created zip. In this example, I'm using the HTML file as a viewable file, and then the zip file that contains both the text file and the HTML file will be available for download within FlexNet Code Insight. The script then deletes the two individual reports as well as the archive of these two files combined. What remains is a zip file that will be eventually uploaded to FlexNet Code Insight. Now for testing purposes, let's execute the batch file, which calls the Python script, and take a look at the output. As you can see, after running the script, I have a zip file that will be uploaded to FlexNet Code Insight. If I open the zip file, I can see that there is my HTML file, which I selected as my viewable file, as well as another zip file that includes both the text and the HTML file. If I take a look at the HTML file, I can see the results of my report, which shows the project name as well as the date that that project was created on. Now that we've verified the script creates the expected output, it's time to integrate it into the custom report framework. In order to integrate into the framework, I need to remove the temporary values for the project ID, report ID, and authorization token. I've also changed the path to my script to include the %~dp0 variable, which resolves to the path in which this batch file exists, since the Python script will also reside at that same location. In my Python script that creates the report, I need to add the following logic. First, I need to call the REST API to load the resultant zip file. It is with this API that I need to know the report ID that the framework provides. Finally, for cleanup purposes, I'm going to delete the uploaded zip file after it has been uploaded to FlexNet Code Insight. To install the custom scripts into FlexNet Code Insight, it's as simple as just creating a custom report scripts directory within the base of the FlexNet Code Insight installation. I would then suggest creating separate folders for each of your custom scripts for organizational purposes. In this case, I have created another folder called Simple Custom Report, and within this folder, I will add the batch file helper script as well as my report generation script. Now that the files are available within the installation, we need to inform FlexNet Code Insight that the report itself is there by registering it. At the time of the creation of this video, the only way to register a report is via REST API. This functionality will be added within the Administrative Options menu later this year. To register this report, I'll use the FlexNet Code Insight Swagger interface, but you could use Postman or any other method you choose. Within the report section, you should see the Create Report API. The body that is sent as part of the request defines 4 items. Name, the value that is displayed within the list of reports that are available within FNCI. Path, the location of the batch file relative to the custom reports scripts directory we created at the base of the FNCI install. Enabled, true, since it's possible that you can disable a report if you wish. Order, where in the list of available reports do you want this report to be? The stock reports supplied with FNCI currently are numbered 1 through 3, but it is possible to reorder or even remove the default reports if you wish. For the purposes of the example, I'll just have my custom report show up as the 4th item on the list. As you can see, the report was successfully registered. Now that the report has been registered with the system, let's go into FlexNet Code Insight and look at the summary page for a project. At the bottom of the page, if we look at the available reports, we can see that Simple Custom Report Example is now an available option, and we can generate a report for this. Once the report runs, I'll have the option to view the file or download the zip file. If I view the file, I'll see the HTML file that we saw earlier, and if I download, it'll prompt me to download the zip file that was created as part of the script. Congratulations, you have now successfully created, registered, and ran a custom report within FlexNet Code Insight. Utilizing the custom report framework within FlexNet Code Insight allows you to create custom reports to extract, report on, and present information that is critical to your organization's open source management needs in the desired format. Be sure to visit the Flexera software community for more information about FlexNet Code Insight and to subscribe and receive notifications on upcoming product releases, customer events, and training videos. Finally, if you believe that any of your custom reports that you create should be a standard report within FlexNet Code Insight, please reach out to us via the community. We'd love to hear about what you've created. Thank you.